Hello, Dr. Tawana Worlds by birth, also known as a disruptor. Did you know that millions who grew up in poverty also die in poverty? Have you ever heard the saying, what good can come out of the hood? Well, I'm here to disrupt for just a minute. Yes, I was that little girl that grew up in the hood, grew up in the ghetto, single mother, absent father, eating out of the trash can just to survive. But I was also that girl that determined way back then that I was not going to become a product of my past. And now I help others do the same thing. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I help men and women from similar backgrounds find value in their own vault and create wealth from within. Hey, what's going on, people? What is going on? Sister Rosalind, I see you. Happy 2025. What's going on, family? Let me get started over here, okay? I was supposed to be here earlier. However, it did not work out, but I'm here now, okay? I want to go ahead and get through the introduction really quickly. I'm Dr. Tawana Worlds. For those that don't know, I am also known as the Disruptor. If you are coming by for the first time, just dropping in, then I hope you'll stick around. And if you don't, I hope you come back and visit again soon, okay? And for those that are always rocking over here, welcome back. Welcome back. I got an amazing word for we the people, okay? Before we enter into our crossover into 2025, we all need to hear this. Hi, Sister Denise. How are you doing? Hello, beloved. What's going on, Instagram family? I'm not going to give y'all no long whole speech introduction. I got to get straight to this, okay? And I know that it's like 10 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, okay? Which means that we're almost over the threshold. And we need to hear this before we cross over that threshold. So I'm not going to hold you a very long time, but what I am going to do is I'm going to ask you while I'm sharing, if you don't mind sharing, okay? Whether people tap in or not, we all did our part. That's what really matters. And for those that it's for, they will come on over here, friends. They will come on over here and tap in with us as well, okay? And hear what it is. All right, let me go over here and do this real quick. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hello, Sister A.B. Brown. What's going on, beautiful sister? Hello to everybody. Hopefully your day was amazing. Your year. I can't say it was amazing. It's amazing because we all made it. How about that? Now, I will say that. But 2024, man, look here. 2024, I mean, we ready to close the door on 2024. All right, we good to go. All right, cool. All right, beautiful people. We need to understand what is getting ready to happen, okay? We need to understand what is getting ready to take place. And I've been saying it for quite some time. So we are aware of the things that are happening around us in the natural. But spiritually, we need to make sure we are in tip-top check. Okay? We need to make sure that we know the assignment, that we know why we're here, that we know, what our purpose is, and we do the purpose that we know our purpose is. Okay? We have to walk the tightrope in 2025. Only the people that will hearken and listen to what God is saying will be quite all right. Only those people that will listen and hearken to what the Most High God is saying will be quite all right. For those who will not, for those who continue in their own way, for those who continue down their own path, for those who drag their feet to do anything, for those who is comfortable in the middle of this chaos and confusion, this really ain't for you. You can sit around and listen. But I'm going to tell you right now, woe unto you. And if you don't know what woe means, it means judgment. I had to sit down and think today, and in all honesty, how many people in the last 2 or 3 days then just passed away. I'm like, if they put another person up here, and no, these are not people that we know personally. I don't know if it's been any of your people that you know personally, but I'm talking about big people that held some type of fame or some type of status of influence. I mean, they just, in the last 3 days, it's been like 5 or 6 of them, 7 or 8 of them. I mean, back to back. Every time you turn around, this person from the Golden Girls, or this person from here. I'm like, wow. They got right to the threshold to cross over into, what's the man president named? Jimmy Carter. Okay? All of these people, they got right to the threshold to see another year, and they're no longer here. Okay? So we have to take our year, if we are allowed to see that, even in the next couple of hours before 2025 here, there's going to be more people who did not make it, even got that close to the finish line and did not make it over the finish line. Okay? So woe means judgment. Woe means it is settled. That's what it means. And I kid you not, that's what the word of the Lord is. Yeah, there is judgment, and it is coming, and we better be in tip-top shape. That's all I gotta say. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let the word talk, because we need to understand why God has been telling us to do what he's been telling us to do, and why he have us moving the way that he's moving. And some things we don't even understand, but we about to. Okay, I want to start off by saying that what God is telling us to do right now, and to go in and confiscate, back the resources and the things that Pharaoh has taken from us, it's not so that we can go and, parlay, do all of these dumb things, without me having to go all on a tangent about that. How we waste resources, how we eat our resources, how we wear our resources, how we consume our resources. And this is the reason why we don't have the God-given resources that sustain his people in famine, in drought, in whatever situation. Resources that he's given to us: gold, silver, land, those things that we don't obtain. We don't have them. And these are the very things that God has always given to his people and always will. When he delivered the children of Israel from Egypt, he told them to go after what? 3 things: gold, silver, raiment. He told Joseph, get to Goshen and occupy the land. They had grew so big that the Egyptians began to cry and moan. Soon as they got to Goshen, they took over. And Goshen was the best part of the land in Egypt. He gave them a place inside of a place. He gave them the best of the best in Egypt, but it was in Goshen. He made the Egyptians give them that land. And then when they got there, everything that they had multiplied. Servants multiplied, cattle multiplied, gold multiplied, land multiplied. I mean, they just dominated. And that is what God wants to do for us. We cannot enter 2025 regular smuggler. We cannot. We're going to have to enter with a plan, and we're going to have to execute on that plan. What God is telling us to do by going to go get the spoils back, like I said, it's not for fun. It's not for show. It's not for flex. Hey, I did this. Look what I'm doing. It's not for that. It's to build. It's to build. It's to build an ark. It's to build an ark. It's to build shelter. It's to build preservation. It's to build. It is not to splurge. It is to build. And if you ain't on that type of time, whoa. If you are not on that type of time, then who can help you? If God is telling you this is what I want you to do, and you don't do that, then who can help you? It's simply woe unto you. That's it. God is bringing people up, pulling people down, exposing people. There's a whole transitioning that is happening not only in the natural, in the spiritual. Thrones and dominions are coming down. There is a clash in the heavenly realm. So we're going to talk about it tonight, okay? So that we understand from a spiritual perspective what we're getting ready to enter into and why God has been pressing us and why he's been leading us and why he's been directing us and why he's been having us do things we don't even know how to do, why he's been having us do things in haste, why he's been having us do things we don't understand. We're about to on tonight, okay? First of all, one of the number one reasons why, I'll come back to this. Let's go over here first. I'm going to try to get through as much of this as I can. But I'm going to get through exactly the main parts that God wants me to get through. Okay? I'll come back to this over here. Let me mark this right here. Cool. Girl, am I going to have to put on these glasses tonight, y'all? Hold on. All right, I'm going to start right here, okay? We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. That's where we're going to start at the beginning, okay? Y'all going to see a glare over here because I got lights on, but hey, look, I need to see. In the beginning, when God, the Most High God, put Adam and Eve in a garden with trees, with plentiful, he surrounded them with plenty. Plentiful, okay? He put them in a garden with trees. And garden just means an enclosed, protected place. He created everything that they had need of before he created them. And then he put them in the garden with abundance. He told them everything that you need is yours for the taking except that one thing. He put them around abundance. We're going back here and walking it like this because we don't know our identity. And if we don't know our identity, then we can't really truly live out our purpose. We're just wandering in this life, trying to make sense of it. We're not living to our maximum potential that we were born to live, and we cannot enter into another year without having our identity. You can't dominate if you don't know who you are. You can't live like an heir if you don't know that you're an heir. You can't do kingdom if you don't know about the kingdom. Okay? So we have to start here. These glasses is irritating me. So God didn't just give them abundance, but he put them in an enclosed, protected place. And that garden, he named it Eden. Eden means pleasure. I'm putting you in a place of abundance. It's an enclosed place. It's a protected place. And I'm giving you the pleasures. This is who our Father is. I'm giving you pleasure. You may eat of every tree in this garden except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, except the tree of lack. Period. God's protected place of pleasure and provision is how we can sum that up. When God created mankind, he created them with that in mind. Let me create mankind and put them in a protected place of pleasure and provision. And all they got to do is maintain what I've given them. Manage it, steward it, operate it, run it, just like I run heaven. Because my spirit is illegal to be in the earth. So I need to create mankind, put them in the earth in a protected place of pleasure and provision. And all I need them to do is manage it. That's it. Okay? Every tree you can freely eat, that's abundance. Every tree you can freely eat. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you may not partake of that tree. That don't belong to you. I don't want you to have that one. If you eat of that tree, you shall surely die. You gave them an ultimatum. Warned them. I've given you everything that you need. If you go outside of that, you shall surely die. And we're not talking about a physical death, because we know that Adam nor Eve died physically after they disobeyed. Spiritually, they were dead. Spiritually, they were dead. That's what that meant. You cut off from provision. You cut off from protection. You on your own. Spiritually, we don't communicate anymore. I created you for a conversation. I created you for fellowship. So you cut off from that. And not only are you cut off from communication, you don't even know what to do in the earth because I created you. And that's why we had constant communication. But you cut that off. So now you don't know what to do in life. And then you cut off your provision. By the sweat of your brow shall you make a living. By the sweat of your brow. And you, woman, in childbirth, you better hope you be saved. That's your punishment. But spiritually, it's over with. Because what you did, it was bigger than you just let an enemy tempt you to go do the very thing that I said not to do. What you did was you handed over all of your inheritance, your benefits, your legal right as a legal representative from my kingdom over to Satan. Okay? You chose my enemy over me. And I'm going somewhere because this is where a lot of us has been stuck. We don't know our identity. We hear the story. We've heard the story. How does that apply to what I'm going through? I'm broke. I'm this. This is why. What have you eaten other than what God already gave you? He didn't put everything you need in you. Why are you going outside of yourself where he fully loaded you, equipped you to get what rightfully is already on the inside of you? Today, we still choose lack over abundance. We choose the grind, hard work. We choose labor over stewardship. We would rather be slaves than stewards. We would rather waste the very time that we've been given wandering around the same mountain, trying to figure it out ourselves, because we don't know the way that God wants us to do it. Therefore, we trying to figure out our own way. And it's a dangerous time we are entering into. You cannot be out here trying to figure it out. You're going to either know or you're going to faith around and find out. Period. The very first temptation in the whole wide world was for us to focus on lack. You cannot focus on abundance because you always focused on what you don't got. When your mind is all, anxious and worried and stressed out, you can't even think, well, dang, I do got this. I can use this. Oh, I forgot about that. You got gifts and ideas inside of you right now that you're not using because you're trying to figure it out. The very first temptation in the whole wide world was to take your eyes off abundance and focus on lack. Why did you need to know the difference between good and evil? You don't even need to know nothing. Everything that you need, I created. Why would you want to know the difference between good and evil? I've never even taught you about good and evil. So what enticed you to be drawn away to know about lack? Because now when you did that, now you knew about death, you knew about nakedness, you knew about evil. Your eyes was open to that. First thing you did was went and hid. Who told you was naked? Now you have eaten another identity. Are y'all tracking? Are y'all tracking? When your body tell you sick and God said you are healed, you eating lack. The doctor said I'm sick. Yeah, I got the call today. Yeah, y'all pray for me. What God say? What did he say? And if he paid for your healing with his blood, you are healed. If God says, I own 1,000 cattle on a hill, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and you are heir and a joint heir, why you don't own no 1,000 cattle? Why you ain't out here dominating? Huh? Why you ain't out here possessing the land? Why you not out here subduing it, replenishing it? Why? God said. Because you eating a different opinion. You focusing on lack. Same thing your original parents did. Same thing. That's just like you telling your child, look, here go this mansion right here, full of furniture. You my kid. You ain't got to struggle. I done already paved the way for you. Here's this mansion, food provided for you, chef provided for you, vehicle provided for you, clothes laid out for you, money in the bank for you. You don't need nothing. And you go choose to live in a shed with the pigs and the goats. You never take advantage of the mansion because you choose to focus on the shed. That was the greatest sin, and it's still happening till this day. You can't even think of nothing to be thankful for because you're so boggled down with the cares of this world. That's taking your focus off of what God said and putting it on what the world say, what the president say, what the people on social media is saying, what the news is saying. Okay? I know we ain't gonna get through all of this. I got pages and pages. Because God said we cannot cross over into 2025 not knowing our identity. Because he got some things that he is relying on us to do. And if you ain't willing to do it, you're being removed. You want to fight anybody? Fight him. He is not allowing people to waste time. I never forget the last time I said this. It was people in my own family that are no longer here, included. And I said that too. Ain't nobody exempt. Ain't nobody exempt. If you don't want to line up, then what's the purpose? For you to just continue to brood rebellion? People think witchcraft is women and men getting on candles and chanting curses and hexes over people. No, that is not witchcraft. It's a form of witchcraft. What God calls witchcraft is rebellion. That I told you to do something, you ain't did it. That I'm telling you to do something and you questioning if you should do it. God's job is always, his will is always to give his abundance. Christ came that we have life and life more abundantly. That's just the God that we serve. And there's going to be a lot of suffering in 2025. When I tell y'all, and I'm telling y'all because I have insight, not just spiritually, I have insight. People are preparing for what's coming. And the scandalous part is they're not letting the people know. That's all I'm going to say about that. People in high places are preparing. Even some people in middle places, hospitals, government officials. This is crazy, y'all. And I'm like, what about the people? But God has not forgotten about his people, nor will he allow us to be ignorant of Satan's devices. God always got a ram in the bush, and God always got a watchman on the wall. Trust and believe. He puts us in places we don't even want to go, just so that we can get the deets and bring them back to the tribe, to the nation, to the community, to our brethren. Okay? If Satan could get them to put lack in their focus, he can put lack in their future. What Satan did was cause them to put lack in their focus. Yep. So that all they would see in their future was lack. If he could put lack in their expectation, he could put lack in their experience. Satan is crafty and subtle. He's been here longer than you and I. You cannot defeat him outside of the one who defeated him. Straight up. Satan has been here for thousands of years studying mankind, their appetites, their desires, their behaviors. The only way you can defeat Satan is through Christ Jesus, who defeated Satan. That's it. And he's very subtle and he's very crafty. He can make stuff look like it's sent right from God, just to trick you up and trap you up. Because if he could put lack in their expectations, look at people now. Lack is in their expectations. They are so conditioned to go work for money. And God never put us here to work for money. He created us with abundance. He created us with abundance. He put gold in the garden before he put man in the garden. Why would you put gold in the garden and there was no stores, nothing to buy? See, we don't know that gold is the currency of the kingdom. It's not dollar bills. Dollar bills belong to Caesar Borgia. Dollar bills belong to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and them. But gold and precious metals and diamonds, they all throughout the scripture. That's why God always uses them as metaphors, as parables. Okay? Having a lot of children, people could determine just how blessed you were by the amount of children that you had, by the amount of livestock that you had. They knew God was with you. You had lots of livestock, lots of land, territory. That's what land is, territory. Okay? It was never about eating from a tree. It was never about that. Because God gave them all the trees that they can consume, baby. Eat till you throw up if you want to. You got so many of them, you'll never run out. I put everything that you need. I gave you animals. I mean, you name them. I'm not even going to name them. You name them. Okay? He put a greater light to rule by day and a lesser light to rule by night. But he didn't name them sun and moon. Okay? It was never about eating from a tree because he said they can eat freely from all except the tree of good and evil. Satan told the woman and tempted her in this way, the same way he tempts us. No different. We're starting here because this is where identity was lost. Why would you, Adam? Why would you? Why would you? I wonder if we'll get to ask him that question. Why? You know how much destruction you brought up on earth? Why would you? Satan told the woman, yeah, have God said you may not eat? See, he didn't even go up to her and tell her, hey, you know God said that you can't eat from that tree. He asked her in a very subtle, sneaky, crafty way. Same way he do us. Know that man ain't for you. Be like, you know God will forgive you for that, right? Look at all the other people just getting away with sin. Right? God say, yeah, you can do that. This is what I want you to start. I'm going to bless you. This is how I'm going to bless you. I want you to do this. And then here comes Satan. You think God really wants you to do that for your family? You know, the ones that be talking about you all the time don't really care about you. You know you really can't do it. That's how he came. And that's how he comes, and that's how he came to Eve. He said, yeah, have God said you may not eat from every tree in the garden? He removed the word freely. Because God said you may freely eat from every tree in the garden. He removed the word freely and trapped her and said, yeah, have God said you may not eat from every tree in the garden? Come on, surely he didn't say that. You know you ain't gonna die for real, right? He just don't want you to know what he know. Yeah, that's it. He just don't want you to know what he know. He don't know what he talking about. Okay? He removed the word freely. He added the word not. He was being very subtle and changed the entire meaning of what God said. Same thing he do to us. When I tell people, you ain't supposed to be working. Well, you know that God said that a man that don't work don't eat. He did say that, but he wasn't talking about you going to go build another man's empire. Do you think that God said, hey, brother, this is the type of system I want you to set up. I want you to set up where you enslave my people and they be bent over working for you and building your empire while you able to do all of the things that I promised that all of them could do. You're able to do that and they're not, and they got to answer to you. They got to ask for permission, and then they got to go through the hiring and firing process. And you know you can work them for cheap labor. Same thing Pharaoh was doing in Egypt. You think God is going to tell another man how to enslave his people? Same God that gave us He gave us a fivefold command when he created us. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. Okay? Subdue it and have dominion. All of that is multiplication. So we're in that. Did God say, diminish yourself? Work for minimum wage. Try to figure it out. Tire yourself out. Waste your life doing this repeatedly. Where did God say that ever in scripture? Yeah, this is what we're doing. God said, I gave you the garden. Now go create whatever you want, because I made you in my image and my likeness, just like I created all of this for you. I told you to go do the same thing and multiply what you create. I told you to go do the same thing by being fruitful. Go be fruitful. Now you go and do what your daddy did and be fruitful. And then when you figure it out, multiply it, because that's what I did. Okay? And then once you multiply it, replenish the earth. Put it all over the earth. In Hong Kong and China and Africa and Brazil and Portugal, everywhere. Replenish the earth. And then when you replenish the earth, you bring the earth into bondage. Subdue means to bring it into bondage. It means to bring it into obedience. Make everything in the earth obey me. Do you understand me? Make everything in the earth obey me. You, my representative, make everything in the earth submit to me. And when you do that, you can dominate. That's what Bill Gates did. Bill Gates took God's word and did it. He created a program for the computer. That was him being fruitful. That was him turning his idea. That was him being a creator, like his creator. That was him turning the idea into income. Oh, snap. I figured out how to create lights. I figured out how to plug in iron to the socket and get power. I figured out how to make a train work. I figured out how to mix a cake. I figured out how to wash your clothes without your hand. Ideas. And after they were fruitful with that idea, oh, this is good. Cell phone, cool. All you got to do is turn it on like that there, press a number, and you can talk to somebody across the world. Okay, I was fruitful. Bill Gates took an idea. And then he said, how can I multiply this thing? I don't just want it on one computer. I want it on all computers. How can I multiply this thing? Well, I'm probably going to need this, and I need that to multiply it. Okay, and after I multiplied it, now I figured out how to multiply it, and now I got multiple of these things. Okay, cool. Cool. I was fruitful with my idea. I multiplied it. Now I need to replenish this. I need to get this over into Texas, into Mexico. I need to get this over into Israel, into Ukraine, into Russia. I need to replenish the earth with this. And now that I've gotten this everywhere, I can subdue it. Nobody else has made a Microsoft in comparison. Nobody. This dude is dominating. Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Spreadsheets. I mean, he dominated. Nobody else. Everybody in the whole world they call this man in just because of his creativity. Hey, Bill Gates, we'd like to give you $1 million for your innovation, your foundation. He went from being a Microsoft computer dude to actually vaccinating children in Africa and calling shots and sitting with kings and officials. Everybody in the world need to know how to use Microsoft. Computers don't work without it. You can't even buy a computer without Microsoft being installed on that bad boy. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Just let me know in the chat. I'm just checking the temperature. When God created you and sent you into your mama's womb, he created you and already equipped you and fully loaded you. You wouldn't need nothing from nobody else. So why is you looking without? That's the great plan of Satan. It's the great plan of Satan. Still works today. Still working today on millions of people. What was so special about not eating off the tree? God said not to. What was so special? Simply because God said not to, I'm not. When the devil came, it was a simple solution. Why did God tell you not to? What's so special about the tree? I don't know, but God told me not to eat off of it, so I'm not. If God put me in the garden to dominate, what is you even doing talking to me? Trying to tell me not to listen to the person who created me. Don't that sound familiar? You out here doing your own thing, Adam. You about to train wreck your life. You didn't create yourself. You don't know what's in plan for your life. You don't know where you're going. Let me try to stick to the text. Simply because God said not to, which means you make yourself God by not obeying what God has asked of you. If God say move to another city and you don't, that's witchcraft. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as idolatry. If God told you to do something, it's for your own benefit. You don't even know. You're not God. So when you don't listen, you tell God, no, I'm God. Same thing Adam and Eve told God, no, I'm God. And that's why we live the way that we live, and we have what we have, and we endure what we enduring. And we've been enduring it and gonna keep on enduring it until you acknowledge I'm not you. You just tell God you're not the God of me. When you do things your way, you die. Because you don't know. It trips me out when people be like, this is my body and this is that. I'll be like, Lord, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. For real, for real. Because we can't even control our own oxygen. Look how many people that could not control their own oxygen in 2020. You can't even grow your own hair. You don't even know how many hairs you have on your head. You know nothing about your body parts unless you went to school and got a little information and still don't know. All the intricacies, how God created you and woven you and had your heart go to this particular spot and connect the valve and why he created your brain to look like this. You don't even know. You don't know that. None of that. So if you don't know how you was manufactured, how can you really know how to run your own life? So when you do your thing, when you do things your way, you die. For the wages of sin is death. Period. But when you do things the way that God said to do them, you live. I hope y'all caught that with two hands. Because God is warning his people in this hour. I'm not allowing you to do your own things. It's either you going to listen or you going to be gone. And it's going to be your fault and not nobody else's. Even Eve quoted back to Satan when he said, yeah, have God said? When he left out the word freely, she did too. The woman said, yeah, we may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. But she left out the word freely because God said freely you can eat. Freely. And that word was very important. Because if she would have grasped that, then she would have known, I don't got to eat from that tree. I got so many others to eat from. But they both, once the enemy put that lying deception into her mind, she found herself repeating the same thing he told her. This is exactly what we do when we refuse to identify sin as sin. This is exactly what we do when we fail to identify that sin is a sin. God said don't do that, but you know God is so merciful and he's so compassionate, baby. God love you. God has been dealing with me. I'll share this one example without naming names, okay? There is a witch on my page. And I can't even say if she's always been a witch. I don't know. But she definitely was, or proclaimed to be, a part of the body of Christ. I know some things happened to her emotionally. She went through some things and still going through some things. So because God has been patient with me, I've been patient with her. Even though she put some of the most egregious things on her page. Even though I didn't scroll and saw her reading tarot cards. It just grieves my spirit every single time. And God said, ain't nobody going to tell her that that's not okay. Because everybody else is telling her around her that it's okay, baby. God is working on you. He still loves you, baby. Which legally gives her a license to sin. I won't call sin a sin. That is sin, and if you don't stop it, you shall surely die. For the Bible says, I suffered not a witch to live. Do you know how dangerous that is? But they tell her that it's going to be okay. And God loves her anyway, and he do. He said, if you made your bed in hell, I even go visit you there. That's one hell of a statement. That he come visit you burning on flames. But his word is his word, and it is what it is. It's the same thing we do. We fail to call sin for what it really is. Men sleeping with men. We call it LBGTQ plus all the rest of the alphabets. We don't call it homosexuality. It's what it's called. We leave stuff out. You know, that bishop or that pastor, whoever is doing X, Y, and Z. Well, you know what? God is just still working on them. No, you failed to call it out. You know, put your hand in the chat if you know that you being pimped with this American dream, the workforce and taxes and all of that. You're really not living the life or enjoying the benefits of your life because you either tired or you either at work. Put your hand in the chat. Ain't nobody on blast. It's just real talk. We getting help tonight. Even if you just wait on a check and you comfortable doing that and you ain't working, but I'm comfortable, I at least got me some provision coming in. And you won't call that thing for what that thing is. This is straight slavery. This is not what God intended for me to be doing all my life. I'm 40 plus, still working a job. I don't own or possess anything. That is not what God put us here for at all. At all. He put us here to rule. He put us here to manage. That's why in the New Testament, it always say, and the kingdom of God is like in a man who put his servants in charge of everything that he had. We are his servants. We'll call it, oh, they just had an affair. No, God calls it adultery. We won't call sin a sin. You know, he had an affair on it. No, he had an adultery. And then if he or she went and remarried after the adultery, you in trouble. We'll tell her, you know, God will forgive you. You can get remarried. Where is that at in the Bible? Unless your spouse die or commits adultery, you have no legal grounds for divorce. Oh, well, we just divorced because of irreconcilable differences. That's your problem that you didn't wait on God. But now that you in it, you in it. Oh, I know this probably ain't going to be, look at the numbers on it, okay? And I'm not a numbers person, but just look at the numbers on this. Walk heavy, Holy Spirit. We're going to get help because I guarantee you, people going to wish they had it. When the clock strikes midnight, and according to God's Hebraic timetable and calendar, when the sun went down, that's the beginning of a new day. So we already crossed over into 2025. But according to the Gregorian calendar, 12 o'clock midnight, which we all operate off of, 2025 going to be the best of both worlds. It's going to be hectic. And you ain't no match for what's coming outside of God. That's all I'm here to announce, to proclaim, to affirm. You ain't going to make this one. If your prayer life is little, you ain't going to make this one. If you're not walking in divine obedience, you're not going to make this one. They got some stuff coming up the pipeline for you medically, mentally, psychologically. They got some stuff coming up. They got some stuff. Okay? We call it affair. God calls it adultery. God calls it drunkenness. We call it alcohol addictions. Y'all see this? That person has alcohol addiction. No, that person has a demon called drunkenness. It needs to be cast out. God calls it fornication. We call it common law. Oh, y'all been together for 9 years? Oh, y'all common law married. Now, y'all been in fornication for 9 years. Wow, y'all been in fornication for 9 years? Just think about what people would do if you said that. It would strongly convict them. But because people don't do that and will take exactly what God said and twist it, that's why we have this sin issue, which gave the enemy a legal right to come into our life and wreak havoc in our relationships, in our money, in our mind, in our health. We did this. God calls it murder and we call it women's rights. Okay? God calls it an abomination and we call it the right to choose who you love or identify with. Satan is the master at changing language. When God say invest that and I want you to take this endeavor and I'm gonna bless you with this, here comes Satan. What is the first voice that you hear? Tell me I'm lying. Now you know you can't afford that. That might be a scam. You know you got that PG&E bill too. The moment you make it up in your mind that I'm gonna take exactly what I got so I can make more because I don't even got enough. Don't do that. You know that ain't even gonna work anyway. People just out here buying this stuff. That stuff really ain't working. And then a whole year later, you see somebody who invited you to go with them and they done done $500,000 and you still ain't done nowhere near that. Tell me I'm telling a lie. Where's the lie? We don't know our identity. We still being duped and deceived by the devil, by God's enemy. Satan is the master at changing language because he understands this one thing, that words are not just used to communicate. Words are the window through what we view the world through. Words are not just how we communicate. Words are what we view the world through. Right? We view the world through words. That's how we view the world, is through words. If you ain't ever had nothing, that's how you're going to view the world. Everything's going to be hard. Nobody ever told us that we were heirs. You won't walk around in life thinking you're an heir. You will walk around in life thinking this is what I got to accept. This has always been my life. This is what it is. This is the best I'm gonna get. I might as well enjoy. We on that Betty Wright type of time. Having a piece of man is better than having no man at all. So I'm gonna just take what I got and work with it. The devil is a liar. Straight up. Satan started that movement to say the word God. Gay, excuse me. Satan started that movement to say the word gay instead of homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, but never homosexual or queer. You can say LGBT, you can say bisexual. Hey, you're in a bisexual relationship. Are you trans? Okay, call it what it is. Why do we have to use alphabets and acronyms? Call it what it is. But that's how the master manipulator does it. And we're just using this as an example. We're not picking on anyone, okay? It took me maybe 12 plus years to pray my daughter out of that situation, and I still pray she remains out. Okay? So I'm not ragging on nobody. I'm just using this because it's what I wrote down in my notes. Satan knows if he can get us to change our words today, then he can get us to change our ways tomorrow. Period. The woman Eve started adding to it. She took away freely and then started adding to it. She said, God said we can eat every tree in the garden except the one in the midst of the garden and not to touch it. But God didn't say that. He said, you may eat of every tree freely in the garden, but you cannot eat from the tree that's in the center of the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You cannot eat from that one. But she twisted up his words again. I want to say these three things real quick, and I'm gonna try to get through maybe one or two more of these points. We'll have to finish this. I'm going to create a whole series on it because I'm going to tell you exactly what God said we need to be doing and why he said it. The reason why we're going all the way back to the basics is because we need to know our rightful position. We need to know our inheritance. It might don't feel good, but we need this truth. So we stop walking around here begging God for what he already did. God, I need money. I gave you a garden. I gave you trees. I gave you gold. I gave you all the oxen, cattle, and fish in the sea. I gave you everything. Light by day, light at nighttime. I gave you everything that you need. There's no difference between between money and a tree, except the process in which it went through. No change. Money is made from a tree. A tree was cut down, chopped up, processed to make money. There's nothing different between a tree and a dollar bill except the process it took. That's it. One is real big and hard, and when you touch it, it's, pokey. And one is just smooth and sanded and with some images printed on it. That's it. That is it. So attention is the seed. Intention is the present. Excuse me. Don't tell nobody I'm getting sleepy, okay? Attention is the seed. Intention is the sprout. And the action is the tree. I want y'all to remember that. Attention is a seed. Okay, my intention to listen, my intention to obey, my intention to apply. That's the seed. I'm gonna write the book. I'm gonna lose weight so I can live longer. I'm gonna pick up the phone and forgive them because they family and we only get one life to whatever it is. Attention to it. Attention is the seed. Intention is the sprout. What was my intentions for planting that seed? So I can always have shade from the sun, so that every year the same tree, reappears and give me more shade for many more sun. Whatever it is, intention is the sprout, and then action is the tree. Okay? A root or a tree can only go as high as its roots will let them. So roots are not just straight down in the ground like that. They go all the way into the neighbor's yard, all the way down to the stop sign. They grow deep and strong. And you can cut that tree down 1,000,000 times. And because the root is in the ground, it'll grow up every single time, like clockwork. Attention is the seed. Intention is the sprout. Okay? And when you take action, you can have a harvest 100%. I'm going to stop right there for tonight and sum it up. We cannot afford to be out here allowing anybody the absolute total control over our livelihoods. God didn't tell anybody else to be in control of our livelihoods. He told us to be in control. That was the commission he gave to us. Each man, each woman. You make sure that you reduplicate what I did. And the only way you can know what I'm doing is by staying in constant communication with me. It's called prayer, what people hate to do. But I'm going to tell you this one thing, and then I'm going to close this out with this one thing right here. Every day we break the law of God. Every day. It said, if any man say he without sin, he a liar. Every day we break God's law. Whether we know it or we don't. Whether it's intentional and we do know it, or it's unintentional and we have not a clue that we're doing something that breaks God's law. So what happens is God is sovereign. He is a judge. He don't change. He don't have feelings like, I really love her, so don't mess with her today. Okay, please. No, it ain't like that. In the courtroom of heaven, there's a court. Satan is the prosecutor. Christ is the public defender. God is the judge. Okay? So when we fail to do what God has told us to do, when we just keep on accidentally being with the people God told us not to be, keep on watching the stuff God told us not to watch. When Satan goes before God in the court house to rail accusations against you, the only way that you can show up to court is via prayer. So when you do not go and you pray, or you think that prayer is some type of chore, whatever verdict was rendered in the courts of heaven is against you. You didn't show up to state your case. You didn't show up at all. You was too busy for prayer. Put it later on down. You had more time to watch Facebook and Instagram and YouTube than you had to go in there and show up to court. Is this helping somebody? Just let me know. Because we cannot cross over in 2025 with the same type of mindset. That's what God said. That's what God said. We definitely have to know our rightful authority, our rightful place, and our rightful inheritance. When you know those things, I don't care what amount of warfare is coming up against you. As long as you stand 10 toes, I know who I am. You got me messed up. Okay? I know why I'm here, and I know where I'm going. Period. We need to have that conversation with God. And I'm going to actually jump off so you can have some time to have that conversation with God. What is the purpose for my life so I can walk in that purpose before the clock strikes 12? I want to be obedient to your voice. I'm tired of doing things my way. They don't work. I cause a big mess every time I try to intervene. What do you have me doing? What do you want me to do? What would you like me to build? What do I need to learn? Because God is depending on us to go and confiscate what the enemy has stolen for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. But you will not be able to do that if you don't know who you are, why you're here, where you're going. Before you celebrate New Year's, make sure you don't go on with the New Year's, new me, but same raggedy spirit on the inside. I'm not willing to listen to you. I'm just saying this stuff because it's the normal thing to do. Everybody's saying Happy New Year. No, it ain't nothing gonna be happy for the people who fail to hearken to God's voice. When I tell you I have books, okay, books, literally. What our mandate, how we should be moving. I'm just going to stop at that part for now. Tonight, what is my identity? What is my purpose? Oh, I'm coming right now. What is my purpose so I can fulfill it? And God, I don't want to tell you no, and I don't want to work outside of you. Not just because I'm afraid what you're going to do to me, but I'm afraid if I don't work, what it's going to do to the people that you put in my care, that you made me a steward over. She's going to give account for that too, for your children. I love y'all. I will leave y'all with that. Because I really want y'all to think about that. I'm not going into a new year with a false identity. Let me know exactly what you want me to do so I can do it. And I say yes in advance. Don't matter where I have to go, what I got to learn, what I don't know. I say yes in advance. All right, you guys. Like I said, I'll come by here another time and bring you guys up to date on some things that's going on. But I wanted to come by here and say what God said first. There are some very dangerous things that are coming. It's actually here. I'm not even going to say it's coming. It's been in the works. It's here. And God don't want none of us to to perish. He wants us to prepare. He does not want any one of us to perish. This is not God's divine will. It's his permissible will. The Lord will use Satan to buffet his own people. That's for sure. There's some bad things that's going to happen to people. Hunger is going to be one of those bad things. Hunger. Food prices is going to be extremely high. Where the Bible talks about food being a day's wages, if you think about it, a loaf of bread being a day's wages, if you think about it, people usually make anywhere from about maybe $60 minimum to about $100 maximum a day. That's an 8 to 12 hour shift. 60 minimum, 100, 120 maximum a day. And you try to go buy you a loaf of bread for $100 and something. God got a plan for us to go. It's a very good position if you just listen. And I took us all the way back to the beginning because that's what God wanted then and that's what he wants now. God is a father who wants his children in abundance. Why? So that the heathen can see what y'all got going on over there. Why y'all so happy in the middle of a pandemic? We're starving over here. What y'all got going on where y'all looking all fatted and stuff? What's going on? How can I be saved? Who are you serving? What are you doing? Ain't nobody looking at us as no influence right now. We're looking at Cardi B and all these other people rapping about their private parts. God said we're not going to embarrass him this year. It's time to build. God needs your hands because his spirit is illegal here. He needs that gift he put inside of you to come out of you. He needs that book written so that he can touch people wherever they at. Do you know that's one of the fastest ways to go global? Write a book. People in every continent like reading. Trust and believe. And if they don't like reading, they got something called audiobook. You can turn your book into an audiobook. They can listen. Fastest way to build a brand is through a book. Fastest way to establish authority is through a book. Fastest way to create generational wealth is through a book. It's called royalties. Every month, write it once, cash out monthly. When you die, your children just collect the royalties. I have an offer, but I'm just a little bit too tired to talk about the offer. I think I'm going to just talk about one, maybe two. Okay. I have an opportunity for two people. I'll show you the flyers right now where I'm charging people a lot of money to get this done. But if you have a book and you have been procrastinating on writing the book, that book is supposed to open doors for you. It's supposed to. Ain't no, it may open. It's supposed to open doors for you. To walk on stages, to speak your way to wealth, to hang around people, bump shoulders, uh, make money babies with people you never ever even could have imagined. One book. It don't even gotta be about you. Um, I will. It's called Book Bestseller and Beyond. I will write the book for you. Okay. I will also make sure that it's uploaded on Amazon KDP correctly, whole 9 yards. Okay. I'm only gonna give two people this opportunity. And like I said, I can turn on the camera and show you the flyers. What I'm about to announce here is nowhere at all. Not on my website, not nowhere. Some of y'all are supposed to be already in other countries. Your story. You asking God to give you more and you won't do nothing with what he gave you. You're so focused on the lack that you can't see the abundance. And you want God to give you more. He says, I'm not. I'm not. Okay? My eyes look like they about to close. That's why, because I'm really sleepy. I will write your book. I will build a campaign to make it a bestseller in a matter of days. See, whatever we doing ain't gonna take months. We doing it in minutes. In amount of a few days, you are now a bestseller, and I will create your tribe around this offer. Okay? You don't want to mix and intermingle, especially if you have another tribe or you have another platform. Say you were in crypto. If that book ain't pertaining to crypto, then you don't want to share that book in that group. Okay? You can actually make a lot of people unfollow you doing so. Because there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Never mind. That I can't even remember the word I'm looking for, but it's um trying to think. I hate that. I'm really determined. Trying to think of the word that I'm looking for. It starts with an E, but we'll just keep moving on, okay? Forget it. Tawana, move on. Don't get stuck there. Holy Spirit, if you want to remind me of the word, please do. But I will not get stuck there. We need to see and move and act like God intended us originally. Because if you're acting anything counterfeit to what he created us to be or to do is direct rebellion, which is witchcraft. And there are people that need to hear your story all around the world. And there are people who You can only reach, nobody else. Whether you use your story to get them there, whether you use, an ebook to get them there, these people will be full of, or your group will be full of these type of people that resonate with your book. These people that is a part of your tribe. These people that you will, pour into or listen to, talk to, encourage, strengthen them. Whatever it is you want to do. Okay. I will allow 2 people to have the book written for them, published, bestseller, and a community of people waiting to either buy the book on a pre-book, play, or later on, once you have the books in hand. You're going to have a tribe of people who support you, ready to read your book, or who have read your book and want to be around you, heard your story, want to be around you, okay? So we set everything up. 2 people, $497. I will do that for you. Just so that when you cross over and possess your possessions, people know exactly who you are, a little bit about you, not in a literal sense, but they have a sense of who you are. Can you help me? And now you're making impact and income, because now you're helping the people that only you can help, and you're getting paid to do so. So for 2 people, I will give you guys the opportunity, take advantage of that opportunity. That is the lowest price you will ever see me doing a done for you, outside of, I think it was 4 people, not even 4, 3 people, that I'm doing something else for them, building something else for them. Not because somebody is struggling, but because too many of us are out of position. And the enemy's going to have a field day with folks out of position. If I wrote me a book now, y'all want to shut down this country next week, I'm good. If people want to buy my book at 5 o'clock in the morning, my business is open 24/7. I'm good. This is the way we need to be moving in 2025, okay? That's the only opportunity I think that I'm going to offer here on tonight. Because I was just going to keep it strictly what we talked about, but I really felt led to bring up that one. Writing a book can change your life and create generational wealth, long-term generational wealth for you and your family. This is where God will take you before kings and queens that you had nothing, no connection, no, mutual friends, no nothing. They heard your story and they sought after you, as it should be. Okay? I love y'all. I'm out, y'all. I'm finna go check it out. Before y'all cross over into your new year, make sure you go consult with God. And what is my identity? So I can walk in that. I'm tired of walking in everybody else's identity, what people said about me. What is my identity? That's number 1. Then we're going to petition him, what is my purpose? So you may be strengthened and run hard and run well, okay? Love y'all. I'm out of here. Hi, Sister Gigi. Happy New Year to you as well. And everybody else. It really ain't finna be happy, but Happy New Year, okay?